that.
And then by coincidence, Missy, could you please reintroduce formally our today's speakers?
I would love to. Yes, I am super honored today to welcome two of my teammates, Amy Hass and Mackenzie Broughton. Amy is a graduate of Fargo North, and she started at Epic in 2016 as the very first employee. She quickly grew with the company from leasing agent to property manager to senior vice president, and now she is our CEO. She leads our team of more than 80 employees and works with the executive leadership team to implement the vision and day-to-day operations. It didn't take her long to realize she found her calling. In her spare time, she enjoys watching The Golden Girls, reading development books, and spoiling her two nephews. Originally from Mohall, Mackenzie Broughton moved back to Fargo in 2017 to pursue her career with Epic as the marketing director, where at that time she was one of 3 people in the Fargo office. So these two are literally the start of Epic.
Yeah.
She's now the VP of Communications, and Mac, as she's known in the office, primarily handles most of our speaking engagement, media interviews, internal and external communications, building signage, and trust me, a whole lot more than that. She's also on the state board of directors for the Special Olympics of North Dakota, and I think we had the speaker of that in here one time too. She also stays active on our Epic Volunteer Committee, which is very robust. And in her free time, she and her husband enjoy going to the lake, relaxing at home, spending time with their son Chesney and stepdaughter Aubrey. And on a personal note, I am so honored to work with these two ladies. They are totally get up and go, but yet they just have a servant leadership mindset. And Amy always says to the team, no one is any better than anyone else. And she truly lives that at our company. And so she'll be shoveling tenant sidewalks and all that, the CEO of the company. It's pretty awesome. She's built really a relationship-driven culture where our team can learn, grow, and truly make mistakes. And I know that because they pretty much have trusted me, you go in there and just do what you need to do. So please welcome my teammates, Amy and Mackenzie.
Do our spiel. She's the public speaker, but I'm going to be her, here for questions and everything. She does a lot better at this than I do. So, wow, thank you, Misty. That was quite an introduction. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for having us this morning. This is a great group. Looking around and seeing all the cool people, and wow. Obviously, being able to work with Misty is quite a delight. We have offices just down from each other, and I was recently on maternity leave, and I couldn't thank her enough for everything that she did for me. As most of you know, she's such a smiling, positive face around, so she just adds such a different dynamic to the team, so we love to have her around. So. All right, today I want to talk a little bit about Epic, who we are. I hope most of you have heard of us, but if not, I hope when you leave this room today, you'll know a lot about us. We're going to talk just about our past projects and future projects coming up, and hopefully we'll have some great questions towards the end. So Epic is an investment management development company. Our main goals are taking underutilized spaces and building mixed-use buildings, but ultimately providing a different quality of life for the community. So each community that we develop in and build in, we want to leave it different than the way we found it, essentially. Our mission is enhancing communities through innovative development. And one thing that our president has always done is he's a visionary. He's seen things in a different light. So he really wants to bring something different to the community, whether that's our mixed use style of living. Mixed use nowadays could be anything from commercial to apartments, to commercial apartments, condos, to a plaza space, commercial apartments, hotels. There's so many different aspects to mixed use nowadays than when we essentially started using that word and started developing in the area. I won't touch on all our values, but you can kind of see our values here. And a lot of these were adapted just from our small upbringing to where we are now and kind of learning what we needed to do and where we needed to go. Evolve and adapt is one of my favorite ones because it feels like every day things are changing. When we come to work, you might have a plan of how your workflow is going to go, and things get completely changed throughout the day. And the next thing you know, you're there till 7 o'clock wondering what happened to your day. So I think that's pretty unique about our team, though. We're always able to kind of, like Misty said, just pick up and do whatever we need to do. We're not ones to, nothing's too small and nothing's too big for us. Each person kind of tackles different things. Being humble is another big part of what we do. But gotta break a little bit. We were in the best places to work for Prairie Business for 2021 and 2022. So we do take pride within our employees and our company and who we are. We want people to really enjoy coming to work every day. Just a little bit about like where we are and what we do. So with our buildings that we develop, we right now have about 30 plus mixed use buildings. So with this, we have them throughout different areas. I kind of noted the communities that we serve. Some of these we don't no longer manage. It's more so we developed in the community. But I like to add that more to come because we have quite a few things in the works. We are looking at different options at all times, but it really does have to work for both parties. And that's a big thing about when we pick our projects and when we look to identify the community that we're going into. Is the community support there? How is the city feeling about the project? Can we be good partners? Because ultimately no project can happen just as a standalone company. And we've really found good relationships with the area here with the West Fargo, Moorhead. We have projects in Bismarck. We have some newer ones coming up in Minot, restoring even history, restoring the M building there. But we're also working on new developments there, such as the track, Grand Forks. I can't say enough about those different partnerships, but then again, we have the smaller communities as well. Huron, Minnesota, we're looking at Grafton, North Dakota, Jamestown. We've just had a lot of really great partnerships there, but like I said, it really has to work out for both parties to make sure that our project can be successful. We do manage commercial space as well, so we have quite a few commercial tenants under our belt, which is exciting. We're able to help small businesses. We're able to get to know a couple of franchise type businesses and just kind of feel the ins and outs of that. We have a great commercial team that works hard on making sure that our commercial tenants are satisfied. But one thing about our commercial tenants is they are moving into a building where there's already a given customer base. There's already tenants that live there as well. So that's a huge intrigue for those to come be a part of Epic. And then we have our residential units, and I like to do the plus signs because we do have projects in construction. We have units coming about. It's kind of a moving target. We're working on opening a couple buildings. Actually, soon we'll be opening another one over at the Lights, one in Bismarck this spring, another one in downtown Fargo later this fall. So we're always kind of looking and moving the line. And one thing about our residential units too is if we're putting up a building, we like to identify the area. What kind of units are around here? Is there studios, 1 beds, 2 beds? And what would be a good fit? And what are we seeing that's filled up fast? And where can we fit in? And that's one way that our property management team is excellent. They're out hitting the streets. They're leasing agents all the time. The maintenance guys, they're great. They're on call. It's really what makes the whole organization come together. You need every moving part to make things be successful. I'll just touch quick on our executive leadership team. So I have to apologize. You guys might not know this, but I do. I forgot the vice president of construction. So I updated it this morning, but a little late in time. But anyways, so we do have 13 of us now. So our executive leadership team consists of our president, Todd Burning, who I mentioned earlier as our visionary. Brian Kanofsky, he's a Fargo North guy, Oak Grove, so some of you may know of him. Amy Hess is with me today, our CEO, one of my great friends. Blake Nybakken, our COO, a Minot native. So we're kind of all, have different experiences of where we come from, but really working together. And then a lot of our CFO, Vicki Campbell, she's out of Minot too. She's just great with numbers, and I say I just can't look at numbers like anyone can. But our vice presidents here, I won't go through everyone, but might recognize a few faces and names. So we all kind of come from different backgrounds. We're different ages. I think that's pretty unique about our team. We work together really well, and we are always kind of there for each other and the advice that we can give. So this is a big part about what makes the wheels turn every single day at Epic. I'm just going to jump into our project experience to not take too much of your time here today, but I kind of want you to know us a little bit more about who we are and where our projects are. Downtown Fargo, we have a couple of projects, right? We call it Gateway. It is the gateway connecting Minnesota to North Dakota, right along the bridge on Main Avenue there. This essentially was an older building. It had the frying pan in it. You might remember there was a couple of office businesses in there. Half the spot was closed. It had some water leakage. So we got the opportunity to buy the site and redevelop it. It's also located right next to the Fargo Housing Authority's tall complex there that they still, I think, a few unknowns on what's going to happen with that, but we'd really like to see something exciting happen. And we decided to turn it into Gateway Center. So a part of this, we have the Gateway building, which opened first along Main Avenue there in October of 2021. This building it's a nice focal point. It has frying pan in it. It has a couple new businesses actually that are going to be opening shortly. But one of the biggest things about it is it was kind of the head start of this development. And so we called this one Gateway. It has apartment units in there that are 2-level, really unique, a community room that you can see the river from, you can see the Veterans Memorial Bridge. And then the next phase of it is the arch. This one's currently in construction to be done towards the end of this year. This one actually has condos that overlook the Red River. Beautiful building. It's shaped like an L, has apartments, commercial. Just really complements the whole area. And then, like I said, we always identify what size units are in this building, what's next for this building. And then you may have heard last February now, I guess, already almost been a year, we were able to buy from the city of Fargo the site Unite. So this is the final piece to the project. And one unique thing about this is that we're going to have interior parking that's also going to be turned into interior public community space. So if somebody would like to host an art show in the downtown community and there's nowhere to host it, it'll be kind of a raw space where people can use that. It'll be on the second level, and then they can also flow into, we're going to have a little plaza out exterior space there as well. And one big thing about this is we want this to be community focused. We want it to tie into the bike paths, the walking paths, everything that's already around there, and make sure it's usable. That's why we're really excited to see what Fargo Housing Authority does with their building, because we want those people to be able to utilize this space as well. Really a community-driven location that really can complement the passageway going into Moorhead. You know, that's one of the first things people see going from state to state. So we just want to make sure that's a great focal point there. This is actually kind of where we got our start. So I like to bring this part up. Some people may never have heard of downtown West Fargo. I had it definitely for sure back in the day, and then they've done some rebranding, and now it's called the Yards on Cheyenne. But Cheyenne Plaza was one of the first buildings that opened when I started with Epic. This one's been great because we've had some really great prominent tenants there with Onset Twitchell, More Engineering. Takes up, we actually have 3 floors of commercial space. The West Fargo VFW anchors a big part of that. This building has apartments on the top level. It stayed really consistently full. I will say we learned a lot from this building, but it's a beautiful building. Really kind of one of our starts, so I love to point that one out. And then right outside it, we have the POW MIA Plaza. If you hadn't had the chance to check that out during the cruise night that they have down there, they'll get a band out there right now. Actually, it's a great time to go there. They have ice and snow sculptures for Frostival. It's amazing. So if you get the chance, drive down there, check that out. The firm flows into that. This actually building opened in February 2021. This one, we're working on some commercial space still on the first level, but it's primarily 1-bedroom units. And one thing that we found, once Cheyenne Plaza went up, Pioneer Place was actually our second spot, and Pioneer Place has some really great small businesses. What was the next need? And it was more of those studio 1-bedroom units. And that's when we built the firm and identified kind of what other units could go in there. Believe it or not, the residential spaces have consistently stayed full in downtown West Fargo, and just, it's great. People are bustling out and about, people are walking around, but coffee's always busy, Ferguson Books. We just added Hands and Plants, a newer boutique down there. Cookie Crumbs, Virtual Salon. So if you get the chance, please walk down there, check it out, park. I know there's a lot of other developments that are going to be happening down there across the street, the old Bell Bank that sat vacant, plans for that. So it's going to be an exciting area and more to come, I think, but I kind of like to talk about it because this is where our start came about. One of our bigger projects, I hope most of you have heard of, the Lights in West Fargo. This is one of our most exciting developments. It actually consists of 3 buildings currently, and we will be opening here shortly, and that's the one that will have condos. And the 4th building is called Edge. This one, we're still in development stages, but lots of apartments at this location. And like we said, identify kind of what size units we have. We have anything from 1 bed to 2-story 2 beds to a 3-bed, a couple 3-bed units there. And right now we're opening our condo buildings. If you haven't had a chance to park your car in the ramp, take the Skyway, walk through the lights, I highly recommend you do. It's a super unique complex. Everything's connected with Skyways. It's just the thought that went into this development, the activities that happen on the plaza space. And it's actually run by a nonprofit, West Fargo Events. They provide free public community events to the community. Anyone can go check them out. They have family fun nights. Right now, there's a huge ice rink. It's an NHL-sized ice rink. It's really cool. So they have hockey games out there. They're an open skate, $5 skate rentals. Take your family out, skate, watch a movie on the ice. I kind of have a picture there that's just of the little kids at the West Fargo Winter Classic that was recently held, actually aired on Midco. So kind of a cool spot. I shared just an apartment picture on one of our buildings there. But just overall, a really unique development, has some great businesses. Essentia Health just opened there recently with their clinic. And then we have this unique video board on the corner that actually advertises slides. So it's a striking development. Everything was thought about, from the lighting, the parking, how things were going to work, the flow, everything. And I think the most unique thing that I can say about this development is that we're going to be replicating it. And that's when you know a development turned out really good. When you hear somebody else wants it in their town and they think it's one of the coolest places. So just a really great complex overall. And I must mention, we worked with the city of West Fargo for this. They actually own the plaza space in the parking ramp. So it was quite the partnership. Really, it would not have happened without their partnership, without all the people behind it. West Fargo Sports Arena owned by the school. Actually, we worked with the school as well. So it takes all those pieces for things to fall into place. I'll just quickly touch on Moorhead. Lucky, you may have known, it's a catalyst of downtown Moorhead. We always heard it was kind of one of the starts, I guess. A couple apartments in there, and the building has Eventide, so that's a great commercial tenant. Choice Bank, Punch Up Pizza recently was Usher's House. And this building, you just drive by a lot, you see a lot, you might not think about it, but it was one of the starts for us in our development world. A really unique building, the shape of it, a lot of different parts went into how this building was going to work on that site. But I think for Moorhead, they were very proud to get this building up and going. And for us, work with them is one of the first times we worked with the city of Moorhead. It just showed how much they have advanced and how much they've been trying to do to their downtown. Some great people within their city offices, and Derek LaPointe has done a really great job in trying to get that Moorhead proud type of thing going. So then in turn, we ended up developing another building called Monet. This one opened in April of 2021. So we have Clareville Autism Health, Edward Jones, Domino's Pizza in this one. Apartments that have just stayed full. It's over by Junkyard Brewing. We were hoping kind of to do some work with Junkyard Brewing in the site next to it and see kind of what we could develop there with a plaza type space. Haven't quite came to fruition yet, but been excited about just this building and how it came about. We actually purchased this from Pat Kovach, so you might wonder about the name. The name actually stands for Marine, so that's kind of where that came about. But Moorhead, we have a couple other projects that could come in the works there. We have a site there along the river called Bull Lake. Just kind of waiting for some more final details there, but it's one of the last river locations. So had a very great experience working with them. Just want to showcase a little bit more what we have around town. Upcoming projects I'm going to jump to now. So Yola, this is one of our big animals, I like to call it. 7 buildings, 7 stories. Ooh. Apartments, condos, but I think one of the biggest things about this is the site for so long. If you drive just down 45th Street, behind the Pizza Ranch, there's the zoo, of course, the curling, the hockey, there's so much there. But the Anderson Park softball fields have really sat dilapidated for quite a while. We put a bid in with the city. We were able to get the bid and we talked about what kind of development we'd like to see there. And this is what we came up with. The best part probably about this development is that it will have a 4-acre green space that will be utilized for a park. It can tie into the baseball fields. There's so many different things we can do. The best part about the development is actually on the next page. But I wanted to just touch on Mocked by Epic. It's the first one that's in construction now. When you're driving by, you'll see this one has apartments, condos, commercial space. So a lot's happening there, a lot more planned for this development. And Neola, you may be wondering what that means. So our boss came up with that name. It was somewhere that he had seen in Florida, but ultimately it means violet. And with violet, there's actually 7 rays of light. And so each building will be named after a ray of light in a different language. So it's really cool concept, a lot to it. So if you'd like to, I encourage you to go on our website and kind of read more about it, because there's a lot more to development and kind of what it stands for. But the best part about this development, one of the best parts I should say, is going to be the water park. So indoor water park called The Wave. Very excited about this. This is going to be a destination location. There's nothing like it in North Dakota. We're working right now with the square footage and kind of what we can do with it. But we had a couple plans set in place. There's a couple renderings of what you can see. The nice thing is that there will be a parking ramp connected. We're going to have a hotel. It's just going to be all connected. Family friendly, can have business people during the week, of course. We want to be able to still host the different events such as this and different type events, but we also want it to be a destination for families and people to come to. I think one of the most unique things about a water park is we live in North Dakota. Obviously, it's cold outside. What can we do to make sure that they can be used at all times? We really thought about the ins and outs of that, and just being able to have the connectivity from it, whether that's the arcade, what to experience when you're there. I mean, it's ultimately all about the experience. And when you leave, how your experience was while you're there, because we want you to come back to. And so we really thought a lot of the details with that. But I will be talking a little bit more about our Epic Charity side. But our Epic Charities, it's a nonprofit that we started. And a big thing that we have came up with is we want everyone, no matter your income level, no matter where you're from, who you are, to be able to utilize this water park. So how can we make that happen? We want to be able to provide tickets and passes for any children in the community, anyone that's coming, to be able to use the water park at a discounted rate or free of charge. So that's something that we're going to ensure happens and make sure that we can do that through our Epic Charities. But that's just a huge part of some of the things that we've thought about and utilized with this space. Really more to come, but very excited. We've been kind of talking about it for a while now, and it just feels like closer and closer that it gets to reality. We're looking at an opening date of 2025, so it sounds like a ways away, but it'll come up quick here. The more exciting it gets. Just want to touch on just a couple more projects as you were driving around. You might see in construction or that type of thing and wonder whose projects they are. Our LTC project is right along Veterans Boulevard across from Shan High School. 6 buildings here, some mixed-use buildings and retail buildings. The buildings you see in construction are a couple of the retail ones and then the Dawn. This one is kind of set back. This would be a mixed-use building, but Scooter's Coffee, that was one of the first buildings there, a little standalone coffee place. If you haven't been able to check it out, I think they originated in Omaha, Nebraska. Great coffee, great place to come check out. But one cool thing about this project is that it's actually named after our Vice President Brian Konofsky's family. It was his family's land. So his dad is Don Konofsky, quite the handyman, has some really cool stories behind him. So we kind of named it after him. And then the vehicles that they drove, Lincoln and Falcon, that's where some of the car names came from. But excited about this one just because of its location, the families around the area. Vacant lots have sat for a while, so now we're going to have some really cool space there where we'll have commercial, residential, being able to drive along Veterans Boulevard, which is one of the routes I take every single day. You've seen so much that has been happening there, so it's continually things in the works, and being by those schools, it's definitely a very family-oriented area. So kind of how can we keep that going and ensure that we have the nice places for our future generations also to be able to utilize. I just touched briefly on these ones because I kind of told you the lights and how we're replicating them. The tracks will be our Minot project. Pretty excited about this one. I'm originally from Mohall, as Missy mentioned, just north of Minot, so I have quite the connection up to that area. So being able to kind of go back to the roots and be able to bring this to some of my family up there is pretty exciting. And our president is also from Minot, so we'll be able to do the ice rink. We'll have the plaza space. We'll have the condos, the apartments. The commercial space, and it's right across from the new Trinity Health Hospital. So this development really spurred a lot from that, and being that Trinity is always looking to recruit, and how can they recruit and get families to come here? What do they need in Minot? And that's the thing that they always came up with. What's my family going to do here? How do I bring my family? How do I convince them this is a good place to live? Well, we have good schools. We have negative 30-degree temperatures. So trying to weigh this out with my wife and children here, how do I do this? It's like if you can provide something that has some place for their kids to go and their families to experience, that's what they're looking for. So along comes the tracks, great place for families, for everyone to enjoy. And I think that's really kind of sold a lot of it, and it'll help for Trinity's recruiting side, but it's also going to help for quality of life in the whole community. The Beacon, unique thing about this one is the mayor of Grand Forks, Brendan Bochensky, came down to, sorry, okay. My fault, I'll go quickly now. Anyways, he came down to West Fargo and said, hey, can you bring this project to Grand Forks? Love to see it there. Asked him the location. The next thing you know, we're coming up with a project there. I just want to touch quickly on Epic in the community. So we do have a volunteering committee here. We try to do a lot of different things with our organizations. We support over 50+ organizations. And then I talked a little bit about our Epic charity side, and more to come on that. And then our Epic event side, you may not know this, but we do art shows, community events, nonprofit partnerships. We bring some events to the Essential Health Plaza, And we also sponsor and help with the Norse Fest in Minot. This is the largest Scandinavian festival. So a lot of different things under our wing and things that we do under our plate. We have a lot of team makers that make this happen, but I just think it's really, you need to show our diverse sides and how many aspects there are of Epic. And of course, the big thing that makes Epic turn is being able to support and partner with our investors. So we have a lot of projects that you guys can invest in, or anyone really that's an accredited investor. Lots of different things that make it a big part of being part of Epic. Anywho, there we go. Sorry about that. Taking a time.
Great job, Mackenzie. Amy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And thank you for all you do. Let's see, enhancing communities through innovative development. Did I say that right?
Yes, good
Yeah.
job.
And by the way, don't they make cool buildings? Like they're just cool buildings. So I appreciate all you do for our community and all the opportunities you provide people for great places to live and investment opportunities and things like that. So we appreciate that. Oh, by the way, because we appreciate you, our Rotary Club would like to donate a children's book to the City of Fargo Children's Library on your behalf. So if you could please sign this before you go. The book is Pete the Cat's Train Trip. This looks like a bestseller. So if anybody wants to, take a look on the way out the door. There you go. If you could sign your name right there, please. We appreciate it. Yeah, and if anybody, we're out of time, but if anybody has questions for Mackenzie and Amy on Epic companies, just hang out here after the meeting, and they'll be here for a little bit. Want to wrap up by echoing Dan Peterson's comment earlier. Next week's program is Alicia Belay with the Spirit Lake Native American prenatal maternal health program. So we'll get an update on that. Look forward to that, and want to wrap up the meeting by saying thanks to everyone for being here. We are glad you're here, and want to just highlight 4 specific benefits of being part of our club. One of them is actually multi-generational relationships. We can learn so much from others, and you learn more from others that are not your exact same age. So you can learn more from people younger than you, you learn more from people older than you. That is one of the benefits of FMA and Rotary Club. The community networking is fabulous. I tell you, I have met so many people in the Fargo-Moorhead community through Rotary that I really don't know if I would have met otherwise. So that's enhanced my life. The professional development, I said it before, it's an underrated benefit of joining Rotary, and it's free. Can you believe that? It's free. Lastly, coming out of this pandemic, it's in the news all the time. The mental well-being struggles that many people have, not only in America, but beyond. It is scientifically proven that when you serve others, volunteer in your community and beyond, you will have lower stress, you'll have increased happiness, and a longer lifespan. It's scientifically proven. Thanks for all you do volunteering at Rotary. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next week.